know that exactly how many hours they have behind the wheel. These programs here have always emphasized the practical and usable skills, and they're blended with the relevant general education foundation. That's very important, of course, to know about the industry, to know about your company, to know about all the rules and regulations set up by the DOT. This is all part of it. And the caring environment, of course, we've had for years, from the guys like you and I, Andrew, who are out in the field, or to the people who are behind the trainers, the guys, actually with the students, and all the guys behind the line. This is putting everything together and making that close faculty-student interaction. The student can call us anytime to get any kind of information. I don't care. Most of us all have cell phones, and we are available almost 24 hours a day. Not quite, but, we got to sleep in the night. But anyway, this is what we do. We're always available in the decent hours. Open door admission, Andrew. This is something
Absolutely.
that National's always been done for.
Yeah, we have a lot of schools out there that they may be part of the college where you got to wait for the next semester, or these other schools that they have a class maybe once a month. National has a class every other Sunday. A new class is starting, so there's never a time where you're kind of waiting around to go and get started.
No, so true. And this is the thing. We're going to show a little bit of our training facility here. We're going to get into a little bit further, but, we want to show it because we're so proud of this. Only one in the country, and we've searched all over to find some other school that has similar to this, our own mile-and-a-quarter, two-lane highway. We developed this so the student can really get the feel of the equipment before he or she gets out on the highway. And this is so important. Develop, not only the skill, but also the feel of not being intimidated by oncoming traffic. You can start out, get that shifting down nice and smooth. State-of-the-art training facility, no doubt about it. It's a mile-and-a-quarter multi-lane highway, as I said, and this ensures safer, more efficient training, not only for the student, but the families, the students who come here to check our school out. We know this is the very best. We've graduated over 35,000 students since 1978, Andrew, so I must show something for sure,
Absolutely, absolutely.
And we're also involved. We've got, we're fully licensed by Florida's Commission for Independent Education. Dante's approved, which means our students, whether the VA-approved students who are actually in the service or retired, military, whatever it is, this is where they come. We have students from all over the country coming through our military programs. We're very proud of them. We thank them, of course, for their service. We're licensed by the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles, and what this all means to you is value and employer recognition. They know that when they hire our students that they have the time and they facilitate all the laws and regulations that are put into the trucking companies today. I mean, there's so many different things, but we want to make sure that when they come out of school, they're very familiar with this. And this is what the companies love, besides the driving hours that they put behind the wheel.
Very good, very good. And, why do students travel from all over the country to attend national training? I mean, our reputation is huge, but our program is very comprehensive. It's very well-rounded. We're not like the Monday schools that are out there. We're not like the CDL mills. A lot of them may not be what they seem. They only teach you one thing, and that's to hold that steering wheel between the two white lines. We're not like the community college programs. And again, a lot of them are very, very good, and a lot of them are even less expensive. My problem with them is they take much longer to complete. So what's really happening is you're losing lots of valuable pay just for a question of time for a course that takes too long. Okay? We offer a very high-value education at a very reasonable tuition in a very, very short amount of time. We're nationally accredited. We're nationally recognized. We have that state-of-the-art training facility, state-of-the-art equipment, representative equipment of what's being used in the industry today. We have the most up-to-date training program available, and we have a very, very convenient financing package. And in a nutshell, Rob, what it boils down to is we have the most hands-on training in the shortest period of time. We have training above and beyond just getting that CDL license. It's a whole lot more. Talk about the professionalism of the industry, and a very, very successful placement assistance company programs that we offer. And many of the trucking companies recruit from national training. And one of the things that I love about our program this year, Rob, is we always talked about. Let's talk a little bit about the national training difference.
Well, there's a big difference, Andrew. It's not just holding that steering wheel between the two lines, as you say many times, but it's actually getting involved in the industry, being able to handle yourself when you leave our school, get on with the company, and actually know what situations can occur on the highway. And this is so important. There's things that happen very quickly out there. We want you to be aware. We're going to teach you all the little tricks and not only tricks, but the involvement that you have to have into knowing about defensive driving in an 18-wheeler. This is very important to us. We want to make sure that our students can live a very active life and a very safe and retire out of the industry. And this is what we're after, and it's all based on safety. We teach you just not only to drive the truck so you can pass any test, a test of your skills, when all of a sudden the little old lady who's in front has her lights on to make a left turn, and then all of a sudden she makes a right turn, and there you are. How do you handle yourself? These are things that we're going to make sure that there is a difference in the training. And, of course, the right training, well, like I said, it's job security. You're going to be with them a long time for that.
Absolutely. And, of course, national training is where the trucking companies come for new drivers. But, one of the twists we put in our program this year, Rob, is we're going to partner up with companies that take drivers not just out of school, but have experience. And
yes.
The first company that we're bringing on board like that is our guest tonight. It's Atlantic Freight, and it's Victor Barstow with Atlantic. And I'm going to bring up his PowerPoint here. He has a company based right out of Jacksonville, Florida here. And Victor, I'm going to ask you first. Just tell us a little bit about you and a little bit about your company.
Well, I myself graduated from your school in 1994.
Oh, I did not know that.
That's great. That is really neat. That says something, I guess.
Well, Atlantic Freight, we just not very old company. We just been in business about maybe since 2010.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll get into that. Okay, great. So Atlantic Freight is a transportation logistic company that grew quickly because of the reputation on reliable service. And when I went through your company, I noticed that you do a lot of flatbed work. And is that how you started the business?
Yes.
It was through flatbed.
It is only flatbed. We are specialized only in flatbed.
And the other thing that caught my eye with your company is you also do the oversized loads. And those could be very, very tricky at some points, aren't they?
Yes. We have a lot of oversized loads and heavy load, the heaviest load that we can pick up. And we give training for this, additional training.
I'm sure.
Very good.
Yeah,
good. So a company like yours, it says here in the notes that you pay very close attention to the details and the quality of service for your company. Well trained, and all of your drivers have TWIC cards, which is the Transportation Worker ID certifications, and this is so they can get in and out of the ports.
Yes.
Okay. So tractor trailer experience, and one of the things is normally we bring people on here that are hiring right out of school, but in our case we have 38,000 graduates. And we offer our students lifetime job placement. So, how many years' experience would a driver need in order to be considered with Atlantic Freight?
Well, we could have taken any driver. We could have taken let me make the speaker lower. We can take less than 1 year experience, but our insurance would not find them in because we have also additional training the driver needs. Whenever
Right.
he comes in on board, we put him with a very experienced driver, and he provides additional training, whatever needed to be done, how to tarp, how to pay attention to if it's oversized load, and all those details he's going to be teaching. And after the trainer, additional trainer, like we say, says, yeah, he's ready to go on the road solo only, then he will be able to go to. Only one problem that we face, insurance would not want to sign if he does not have experience, or at least he does not have his driver license class A for at least 2 years.
Okay, so pretty much, really what we're looking at then is somebody that has maybe 2 years over the road experience, and we find that also with we do. Since you left there, we added an auto hauler course to our program, and those guys, just like you, they're specialty, and those guys have to have 2 years experience before they can get hired, but very highly paid guys that go there. So I want to look a little bit about the history. You founded the company back in 2010, started with just 2 trucks in the first year. The fleet then grew to 5 at the end of the 3rd year of operation. The fleet increased more than 5 times with the number of trucks to more than 20. And currently our fleet, a variety of heavy machinery, allowing the company to provide our customers with the best quality service money can buy. Now, the heavy equipment also is a big draw for us as a school because, we have the heavy equipment school as well. And does it help that if a driver knows how to operate that equipment to load or unload the equipment?
Yeah, it's going to be help, but we're also going to provide additional help that we're going to be teaching him how to do that, how to not to do. And plus, before he starts moving, he needs to make a picture. After he makes picture, then he sends to dispatcher. Dispatcher is going to say what else needs to be done, how to be tarped, if it needed to be tarping. And then he's going to put how to secure the load.
Tie it down.
Only after that, when he says, go ahead, you can go, only then he can go, to make sure that no mistake is going to be made.
Well, that's kind of great. So you have a pretty nice team at the home office then.
Yeah, and another thing, there was time when we used to have more than 20. We used to have like 30, 35, close to that. But we had to, because of the drivers, because of the requirements of the insurance says only you can take to work hire any people who has like experience more than at about 2 years over the road. And because of that, we started losing drivers. A lot of them, we just started shorting, and then we started selling trucks because we did not have drivers, only because of that. And we just shortened, we just came back to 20, but maybe a little bit more to 20 that we have.
Well, very good. Well, I think that our partnership with our 38,000 graduates, we should be able to get you some pretty good drivers, plus all of the people online that maybe have been driving for 4, 5, 6, 7 years.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about Atlantic. Is 2012 the company relocated its main base to Jacksonville, Florida. He has 6 acres of land, 40,000 square feet building, and 15,000 square feet of maintenance bays. So you do all your own maintenance as well. That's great. The customers with flatbed transportation as well as equipment, machinery, among other services. Second location in Asheville, North Carolina. So basically two yards. Atlantic is also known and trusted because of the reliability, thoroughness when providing transportation solutions to their customers throughout the continental United States. Very good competitive price. Now you also have, besides the truck driving, you have the freight forwarding, And would this be as, let's say you were taking heavy machinery out to California from here and then getting something back so that you're not coming back empty? Is that the type of freight we're talking about?
Yeah, it depends what kind of load and how heavy load is. For example, if it's picked up from military bases, it needs to go and there is no room anymore. For example, the tank, it's very heavy, it's taking the entire, and it has to be delivered, let's say, from California to North Carolina to Camp Lejeune, for example, and it just goes straight. He bringing here from there to there. But before he goes there, he may bring something else to that place also as well. And we also use partials.
So your freight forwarding company handles that as well?
Yes.
Okay. And then we talked a lot about the, you guys do a lot of overweight and oversized loads. And again, it takes a lot of work to make something like that happen. All sorts of permits and things like that. And the driver has to be briefed on, what roads he can go on, what roads he can't go on. And you guys handle all of that from your main office as well?
Yes. Everything is handled here from Jacksonville. We have dispatchers, we have communication, and the driver is to report everything is happening, what kind of size he has, and whatever else it could be there. And then we just brief him, and dispatcher mostly handling all this stuff.
Okay, wow. Very good.
Sounds pretty complete. You use a lot of low boys then in your transport rather than the straight flatbed trailers. Is that right, Victor?
Yes. Mm-hmm. It mostly always depends what kind of load we are going to be using and what kind of load has to be delivered. If it's some of those vehicles that we have to deliver, they are too high, so that we need to use low boy only that would be able to pass through under the bridges and under all the height also supposed to be just considered to be so that whenever we load is going to be picked up, we already know what kind of is going to be high taking. Of course, you cannot use flatbed and you can use low boy.
Exactly. Yes, I understand. Let me ask you, you do a lot of government work. Is that true, Victor? I hear when you're saying tanks and so forth. Is that a good part of your shipping and so forth?
Yes. We have some contracts with military bases and the government contracts. But we're just on the way to get even more.
Well, wow. I'm noticing online tonight that we have some past students. And they were veterans, and they're out there working, and they're asking if veterans have a preference with Atlantic.
Would you mind just repeating the last part? I did not hear the question that you asked.
We have
veterans that who are there.
We have a lot of veteran students, and it sounds like you're going on to a lot of bases. Does veterans have preference with Atlantic freight?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, they do have preference.
Very good. All right.
Do you have
answer complete, or you would like to hear more?
No. Do you have any pictures of your machinery or your machinery, your equipment?
Here we go, Rob. Here's one of their.
Okay.
This is one of their flatbeds.
Oh, all right. We're on flatbeds, yeah. So.
Yep. Okay. This is flatbed.
No, that's great. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Great.
48 to 53 foot, 8.5 feet wide.
Right.
48,000 pounds. A step drop trailer. Specifically designed to carry heavy haul that cannot be.
There's your low boys. Step tractor,
Very nice looking trucks, and your trucks looks like they may be all different colors. Your tractors.
Well, with trucks, what we do. Let me just put a little bit speaker lower because it just. if the trucks, we need to have also reliable trucks. We just cannot say, let's say we pick up from military base and the truck started driving. Oh, sorry, man, it just broke on the road.
Yeah,
Cannot
really.
afford that. Any old
No.
truck just immediately being sold, and new updated trucks that we get, and then exactly equipment and trailer, everything is just right for that. But for variety, we have just tried to have different type, different colors. And sometimes we have no choice what color to get, but whatever we just buy, whatever we see, we buy on the market, and we don't want to change the color of the truck.
Right.
Very good. How about the electronics inside your trucks? You know, a lot of the guys, you know, do you use Qualcomm?
No, we just still use um, uh, paper logbook.
Paper logbooks, very good.
Yeah, and probably we're going to be changing this year if the rule is not going to be changed by 2017 December.
Right.
If it's going to mandatory for every company to start using e-logbooks, so then we will have no choice. We will have to do some kind of updates, upgrades for that one.
Yeah,
Other
something
than
like that.
that, everything else that is supposed to be for the trucks, late models especially, any kind of electronic is involved, plus GPS we have and location where a truck is located for dispatchers to know.
Okay, we're getting some questions on the board here. Uh, we have a guy here he's a past graduate, and he wants to know, you know, how long would he have to be out working for a company like yours?
Question, how long he's going to be working for us if he comes to
No,
work for us?
as far as being out on the road, are you an over-the-road company?
Yes. This is only one our company exceptional, like not any other companies. For example, he goes on the road for about 2 to 3, it's like 2.5 weeks, and he coming back, and we are go about for all 48 states. After that, when he comes back, if he has something at home he wants to stay at home, let's say 1 week or maybe 2 weeks, whatever he wants to have a choice, he has this choice. He just
Very
tell up
nice.
front, well, next trip I would like to stay, maybe I want to start the trip maybe after a week, maybe after 2 weeks. This is what the good preference, a lot of drivers like it, because they have however they want. Some drivers, they ask, well, can I go on the road maybe for 3-4 weeks? I want to stay on the road as long as possible. Only one thing requirement, if you can do so, we can do all this stuff like partial picking up from one place to another place and to keep you on the road since you want to. Then only if truck doesn't get broken, because we have certified mechanics and we want to make sure they just trucks working in the good condition. And also we just, like every driver is required, just when he comes back after trip, to write down everything that anything wrong and potentially may become wrong. So we want to give him best equipment on the road. So when DOT, if anybody is going to be checking him, so he's going to be bringing good inspections.
Very
And
good.
so the truck is not going to be the issue, something jeopardizing safety.
Right.
Very good.
So that only one to answer question even better, it's just like basically most of the time on the road, like 2.5 weeks. This is the most time the driver is on the road. And he's just heading to all 48 states that we are heading to.
Okay, very good. All right.
Do you have any like drop shipments, in other words, part loads, and then you drop it one other place too, Victor, or this is usually a straight load from point A to point B?
No, we have, we call it partials.
Partials,
we pick up on one place, we pick up on one location, then there is more room on the trailer. That's why the driver is communicating with the dispatcher, and he tells him, he makes a picture and he sends it to him. Well, here is how much more space I have and how much the weight. We have all those rules that when he needs to wait and when he needs to immediately to communicate with dispatcher if there is like load is something not fitting or something is not going to be safe to jeopardizing safety or something may happen. So all these questions discussed before, and then after that he goes on one place and then waiting for another load but before he gets to that place we are also looking for another load just to fill up the trailer so we want to make sure the trailer is not going to go empty. It's just going to be like partial one place, and then we pick up another one, and then deliver one, and then the other one.
Right. Well, that makes sense.
This is how it's just working.
Sure.
But sometimes, to answer even your question better, if it's like big equipment, heavy machinery, yes, it goes completely from one point A to point B where it's supposed to be delivered because there will be no more room to put anything else.
Sure. Very good. Let me ask you, Victor, also, how does the pay scale work on yours? What is that? How is that based? A little bit on that for the students we're looking, or the people that are looking in at this time?
Basic question, your pay, how many pay goes for them?
Yeah. I mean, you're paying by the mileage, I assume, right?
Yes, it's paid by the mileage, and also if he has good experience,
right?
And he just shows that he just everything he does on time. But the very first time when he comes in, we give him road test.
Of course.
And after road test, we put him for training with a trainer who first trip is going to show all those tricks, that everything that needs to be done in order to be safe, and how to load, how to tarp if it's needed. And the way he's going to be operating, and trainer is going to say how soon he can go solo. This is what the best time, then we're going to be calculating and seeing how much the pace is going to be set up for him. I mean, what the pay is going to be.
Right. Okay.
But if driver came with experience, he says he already has experience, he already drove somewhere else. Even he drove different type of equipment. Let's say dry van or something else, but after that, it's still going to be like road test, and the owner himself is looking at him through the routes, how he's doing, how he's turning, is going to be safe or not, and explaining all this with just explanation. And then I give them, personally myself, I give them a logbook education, and with all those updates, and after that, logbook test. So he needs to pass to see those little things right there, like 30-minute break or 14 driving window, and our company is operating 24/7, so it's supposed to be like 70 hours per 8 days. So after the test is taken, everything else, all precautions is taken, because we don't want to screw up real good the contracts that we have with some companies. We want to keep our good reputation. So all those things need to be met, and we just cannot just driver to say, well, we can gonna put you and to entrust you this thing right there, but if he's not taking through the test. So about paying, it usually starts after 30 cents. It's like 32 cents to start. But only the major thing that we have to put him, previously last year we had one insurance that required only 1 year, that it should be driver with class A, just 1 year that we put him on insurance, they can sign him in. So, but everything would be dependable on how fast he's going to be taking additional training. I mean, with this type of equipment, it's like flatbed only, tarping, and we don't want also tarping is also a big part right there of learning. I don't know if your company if school teaching tarping, but sometimes because of the tarping, it seems to be like a small issue. But on the road, we had some with drivers whom we did not give like additional experience. They have like small experience, little experience. So tarping was not tight and good enough. So it's made loose and started flapping and bit that equipment, machinery. It was like electrical panel unit. And
Yes.
when he arrived, they said, well, this is defected. It's now going to be not good, and we're going to be opening claim. So to prevent all those things, it's going to be dependable for every driver. First, focus to put on training and how well he's handling and how well he's teachable and learnable. All these things that we need to do for the company to operate safely. And then after that, it's going to be determined how well he's doing, and then it's going to be pay is going to be determined after that.
I see.
And then driver is going to say, well, look over there, I don't have anything just bad and just everything. And he brings good inspection. He's doing everything safely. He's operating. And after every trip he comes back, it's also going to be encouragement for him. If he did not bring any violations, if he did everything on timely basis, so then going to be bonus is going to be given. It's also going to be affecting his. Some drivers that would receive like if they brought three inspections, $150 for each one, $150 just only for safe, good operation. It's just like this is what the pay is coming. But some drivers, if they have, let's say, high pay like 48 or 45, like up to 50 cents if they have. But if they go right there, they bring wrong, bad inspection, or they just don't do or missing something right there, that then they're just losing those points, and they just not like earning as maybe good earnings right there. It's also going to be dependent on them. How they perform, how safely they do, and how good they do without any kind of reproach.
What would you say of a driver starting out with you with the 2 years experience and a good safe driver, doing everything that he's supposed to do? What do you think his first year's earnings would be about, would you say?
I cannot say all those determination my boss is doing. He himself personally take a road test, and he's going to see how he's going to be doing that. All those, he puts through several places, how he's going to be, how he's turning, how he's braking. And after that, he's going to go anyway. He's going to go first week, he's going to with somebody else. Because all those things we just cannot just throw at him to say, well, you're just new driver, go ahead and start. Maybe it's going to happen, maybe not. Some customers that we have, it is to happen 100% satisfaction, so we cannot just entrust. And after that, it will be the trainer. We're going to take him. Some drivers just immediately after 1 week just came back. They're just so good. They just right there. And just immediately, boss himself, he's increasing. He may negotiate with him. He said, look over there, I did everything right. Yeah. And dispatcher has no problem. Yes, he did everything on a timely basis. And just can go immediately, like a big earning he's going to do. But all drivers, they just real happy because it's just long distance. When it's going on long distance, it's just like the same miles. You can achieve those goals and to take a lot of those miles. And it's going to be just also determined. There's always, all of them is very happy with pay.
I see. Okay.
There's other questions on the board here. I got a couple of hands up. If you want to ask Victor a question live, go ahead and raise your hand. Thomas Taunton, go ahead. If you hit your little microphone, we should be able to hear you. Thomas, you just click on your microphone, the green microphone.
Okay.
Okay, let me go to the questions board here. Paul Clark is asking, what type of benefits does Atlantic Freight offer? Like health insurance, life insurance, that kind of thing?
Exactly what kind of benefits are you asking about? Bonuses or pay or insurances or any kind of those? What exactly?
I think he wants to know about health insurance.
Atlantic Freight, well, we don't offer any health insurance.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thomas has got his hand up, but he must not have a microphone. Marlon Flores. Oh, there you go, Thomas. We can hear you now, Thomas.
I hit the wrong button. I'm sorry.
Okay. Have you liked what you heard so far about Atlantic Freight? All right. Okay. Marlon, you had your hand up, Marlon? Just click the green microphone. Marlon? Okay, he just went blank. Okay, let me check out some more on the questions board here. Rob, you seen questions on the board?
No, not at this time,
All
Andrew.
right, hold on a second. I'm on a different computer, so I lost my questions board. Hold on a second, I gotta re-find it. All right. What did I do? Okay. Very good. Well, I don't see any other questions, Victor. And Victor, you graduated from national training back in 1994. What have you done since '94? Have you been out on the road quite a bit?
Yeah, actually, I made about maybe at least 1 million miles on the road.
Very good.
Very good.
And you know, we got a lot of people online tonight listening, and you know, there some that are graduates and others that have already been in the industry, but there's a lot of new people coming on. What would you tell a new person coming into the industry today?
It just basically for him is going to be to test. I mean, we have all different people. Some of them they like to be on the road. Some of them they don't. Some of them they like it because you can make opportunity to make a lot of money, much money more than with any other places. But I would say, like, basically, if your question were about Atlantic Freight only, trucking industry itself.
Trucking industry itself.
Well, as trucking industry itself, some people just they did not find a good job, and they probably were disappointed. Maybe some of them they said, "Well, I thought I would be able to make much more money," you know. And some people say, "Well, I'm pro-family," but in most cases, opportunity only to earn money, real good money, when you're going to be on the road a longer period of time. This is better opportunity, easier and better opportunity when you're on the road. But they say, well, I just want to be with my family. Some of the drivers who came to work for us, and they just earn good money, and then they decided, well, because of my family, I just need to be more home. He found job which was closer to his home, and he would be able at home every day. But he said, now I'm quickly worn out. I want to return back. Will you take me back? Because it's much better to work, like to be on the road and to be like 2.5 weeks on the road, and then after that to return back if I want to stay at home with my family. Usually it takes me 2-3 days, and I just already feel like I also need to go on the road. So it's I would not say just one way tracking industry. This is the best, and go for that one. Always going to be dependent your situation and your spouse, how your spouse is feeling,
Right.
how your family, and how yourself want
The
to be.
support group around you. All right, so if people are interested in going to work for Atlantic Freight, they can call you at 904-722-8285. And
Yes.
then, does Atlantic Freight also have a website?
We do have a website, but it also has like phone number. This is website that I gave you, and also we have like phone number. The best way is just to come see me personally, and I can talk to them. May explain much better person to person.
Sure.
And then I also can say when I take MVR, and then I can say if he's going to be qualified, if insurance is going to be sign him in or not. And it's going to be dependent, and start point is going to start from there. But if I give him everything, just saying everything about the company, how good it is, and how he has good opportunity to earn money, but when I take his driver license and insurance, looking at that, his MVR, and says, no, we cannot sign him in, so the Atlantic Freight without insurance cannot hire him. And it just would not be just good for him as well, just to say many good things about how he feels about Atlantic Freight.
Okay, good. All right, I got one more hand up, Marlon Flores. Marlon, if you go ahead and hit the green microphone button, you can ask your question. Marlon? Okay. He typed it in. Hold on a second. Gotta find that. Let me move this out of the way here. Oh, there we go. I found it. Okay, Marlon, special guys. Hope all is well. Okay. Very good. Thank you, Marlon. All right. All right. Well, Victor, thank you so much for coming on tonight. And again, if anybody wants more information, give Victor a call at 904-722-8258.
No, 85.
Say it again.
85, not 5 to 8.
Oh, okay. Very good.
The last two digits, I just like backwards, he said.
Okay, very good. Very good. Well, thank you for coming on tonight, Victor. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks, Victor. Very much. Great.
All right. Well, Rob, that was pretty interesting. We talked to a past graduate of Nashville, and he's working now for I don't know why that came up.
Atlantic, Freight.
Yep, Atlantic Freight. Okay. And why drive a truck for a living? And Atlantic Freight is a company that pretty much hires only experienced drivers. Sounds to me like you can make anywhere between 32 and 50 cents a mile. There, they have a very expansive training program for flatbed. I think like a lot of companies today, a lot of companies are governed by the insurance companies and things like that, which brings up the huge demand for drivers today, isn't there, Rob?
Yes, there is. Andrew, and talking to Victor, I know they didn't offer a lot of benefits, but the pay scale looked pretty good. If you're running cross country from here to California and back, we're talking over 6,000 miles. You're making 40 or 42 or 50 cents a mile. Figure that out. That's pretty darn good, when you start to do that type of thing. You can afford to put in a little bit more for your own benefits, I think, under those conditions.
Yeah. Hey, Rob, address the truck driver shortage for me a little bit.
Well, it is really, it's out there. I mean, let's face it, not everybody wants to get into this industry, just like Victor was talking about. A lot of guys want a 9-to-5 job, and a lot of people, and not only that, with the new regulations out there and Homeland Security involved, you've got to be top notch. And all the companies are really having a problem with this because in the old days, Andrew, as you remember, when we were in the industry early on, we could just about take anybody, but those days are gone. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Some of these new regs and so forth that are coming out, and with that, what is that one that they do with the DOT thing with the with the tickets out, proper pre-trip and so forth. Yeah. So these things all added up, and I think that's where the retirees, guys are, in the 60s are getting off. They're retiring. They're leaving the industry, and it's catching the company short, and they don't realize that. And finally, they are realizing it now when they're competing. I mean, let's face it. In the old days, I remember it was just almost union jobs. You were a teamster. There weren't that many outside trucking jobs, and it was hard to get in. But today, with the freight, with it's moving up and down the highways, if you go out on the highway, any major highway, it's truck, and it's going to continue this way. And of course, because of that, they've got to have the ranks and file to fill these guys to drive professionally, and it's getting harder to do. So this is why there's such a demand for the industry, and it's going to continue too. And it's not going to slow down, believe me.
I know that we always used to talk about, the money driving people, but, in the last 5 years, it's really the adventure. Making big money has always been there. Life insurance and all of the benefits going through the dental, the vision, the health insurance, the prescription plans, the environment, not just for you, but for the whole family. Freedom from the boss's heavy hand. I mean, you used to talk about that all the time.
Yes, that was always a big thing with me. I loved that you were your own boss, even though you were driving. The guy's name was on the company's name was on the door. You were your own boss. You got paid well, whether you're going from point A to point B, and it was always made money. There was always, and that will continue. And it's getting better all the time, of course. With the shortage, the companies are offering more money, of course, and many other things.
Victor was talking about being out for 2, maybe 3 weeks at a time. And, being out on the road, and he had some beautiful trucks in his fleet, all flat.
He sure did. Yeah, they really look nice.
But nice trucks. But these tractors really do become your home away from home. So let's take a look at some of the trucks that are out there today.
Some of the things that, things have changed, Andrew. These are probably about 4, 5, 6 years old, but still looking inside. Look at that for a team driver, husband and wife team with that size of that bed, full size, and the tufted ceilings and walls for sound retention. And then, of course, your separate controls for your heat and air. And, of course, to the left of that, you have your TVs and so forth, your microwave and refrigerator on the other side, which you're not looking, can't see. And just go to the other side, for example. This is just another one, a little bit different for twin size. That other bed will pull right down for, team drivers.
Like a bunk bed, right?
We're going to talk about that little seat that turns around. I love that second seat. Just flips right around, and that little table pops out, so he can do either on his computer or maybe just read, whatever it might be. And of course, he's got that. And that really is nice. And usually all those seats are lumbar controlled. They're electronically controlled, sitting on an airbag. So you've got all of this comfort, really better than your home chairs, I believe, because that's the way it's set up for that. And this is a little bit different. This is a picture of the same unit, and it just shows, for example, what it's like in that particular area, the width of the seats, and of course the upper. Now, of course, this is one of our favorites, that Volvo.
This is the Volvo 770. And this is just a
beautiful
truck. This is like driving a motorhome down the road.
It sure is.
I like, I got one picture with the bunk up, one with the bunk down. It's got the retractable table. It goes into a full-size bed.
Right.
All the cabinets, everything is enclosed.
Yes, I love that.
Microwave, and then they pulled out that other drawer. It was a sink.
Isn't that great? Yes, that was really great. That's one of the companies we work with.
It used to be right here. This is the driver's seat right here.
Yeah, it sure is. It's a great setup. That really is. It's a comfort zone. It's really neat.
How many people, just by a show of hands online with us tonight, are thinking about maybe owning their own truck one day, go ahead, raise your hand. Think about owning your own truck one day. Sure, Andrew and Marlon and Paul and Peter, excellent. And one of the things that we want to point out is, you can pimp your truck out any way you want. This driver here, he's got cherry wood floors. He was able to pick what kind of cabinets he has, the leather seats. He's got all sorts of inverters in there, all sorts of speakers, sound system. I love the dashboard of this truck.
Like a sports car, really. Yeah, really.
Very, 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 very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Rob, let's go over the different types of driving. We didn't get a lot of that.
Sure, because I know Victor is offered strictly over the road, but it's a great pay scale. Whatever company you go aboard, everything is more money. Top of the line equipment always. Tuition reimbursement, of course. Most of our carriers carry that, and also advancement opportunities, getting into safety and some of the other outside of trucking. You can get into other things within the industry. This is really the serious money and benefits. This is combined with a whole new lifestyle. Like I said, it's not a 9-to-5 job. That's why you're getting paid what you're doing, of course. And then, of course, there's regional driving. We have those companies that come to our school. You haul freight of all kinds. You remain primarily in a particular area, mostly in a tri-state area. Weekly home time, great pay, steady runs, of course. Company benefits, and all of our regionals offer tuition reimbursement also. So these are all the things that are out there. And if you want to get into dedicated, we haven't talked about those, but dedicated is very similar to that, except you're pulling maybe trailers from anything from, it could be Home Depot or it could be Target or whatever, and that's what, it's a dedicated run. You're usually running the same runs. Local driving, we have those, and that's really requiring mobile stops, and of course you're handling the merchandise. Unloading, you don't have to load it up. It's usually loaded up the night before, but you're going to be running in and out of the stores. It might be just unloading for any of the major shopping centers or so forth, and you're handling the merchandise. You might have up to 20, 30, 40 stops, but that's part of the deal. You're home every night. Some jobs require the special loading skills, which you're going to learn about, and pay and the benefits are sometimes less than reasonable or over the road, but that isn't always so, because Andrew has something to prove on that.
That's true, Rob. I mean, a couple of weeks ago we had Terrence Henry on from Schneider. And I was talking about another one of our graduates that did very well. He graduated top of his class. He went directly to Schneider in their tanker division, and he drives from Port Everglades to Fort Myers 3 times a day, $65,000 a year, home in his own bed every night. So best of all worlds there.
Right. Yeah, that's great.
It's out there. It's not out there a lot, but it's out there.
Yeah, it's doable. It's finding that right. He happened to fall into it at the right time. He was there at the right time.
Absolutely.
And that's usually the case, on so many of these situations.
I get the question all the time, and Victor kind of hammer around the pay. But I tell my students somewhere between 25 to 45 cents per mile. It's about the national average.
Exactly.
Labor statistics here. 1983 or $22 an hour. Look at the grocery related, $43,000. That's pretty good. So if you're making $700 to $900 or even $1,000 a week, that's pretty good. But then when we talk about team driving, where that truck can roll 23 hours a day, that's huge. You're talking about
whether you're sleeping
between $100,000, $150,000 a year.
Exactly.
$80,000 a piece. That's pretty darn good money. All right, Rob, let's talk a little bit about the driver qualifications.
Well, driver qualification haven't changed for many years. They're pretty simple, but they've, it's updated. We've updated 20 years of older, and no maximum age. We've had students here 70 years old. As long as they can do the next one there, which is pass the TOT physical and drug screen, of course. Read, write, and understand the English language. Well, that's understandable, of course. The background that qualifies him or her to possess a CDL. That's very important. But ours is going to be a little bit tougher out there because we want to make sure that our students have the opportunity to get into any care That's the big thing.
Rob, when we look at ours, we always look at the driving record, kind of like
Yes.
Vic talked about, with the insurance. That's a kind of a big deal. We're going to look at the criminal background. We're going to look about the physical abilities. You know, can you throw a tarp? 50 pounds, 75 pounds to lift. Of course, we're going to administer that drug test the very first day of school. Most importantly, though, and the most important thing is, we want to know what your intensity is to succeed. We want to ensure that you can benefit from this training before you start. Are you employable?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. The action starts up at the school. It's a 4-week program, and you got the pre-trip. You're going to be out on our 350-acre mile-and-a-quarter track, the backing pad. Here, day one up in the truck, and you know we had a couple of guys up in the truck today. You know, just doing the we were just doing you know, 3 points of contact and an agility test to go along with the DOT physicals. But they got up in the trucks and they, you know, they all come out smiling. It's a lot of fun. Here's an instructor, very first day, going over all of the different types of controls. And of course,
this is something we've always been proud of, and I've always been proud. Every time I come up to school and see this picture, it really gets to me because we're the only one in the country that has anything like this, Andrew. This is a mile-and-a-quarter long highway where you can actually get out there without even a license and drive on this, and that's the beauty of it. It's all self-contained, and it gives a chance for the students to feel what it's really like on the road. And, you know, without having to worry about oncoming traffic. And it's a real safety feature for them as well as their families, knowing that they have such a thing. Over here, that's your little eighth of a mile. You can see the little slots, but those aren't slots. They're actually backing areas where you're going to come in and practice backing on the left side and also on the blind side. On the other side, we're going to do parallel parking, and that's really something else, but we're going to do that too. In that area, we're going to do the backing and the docking up into the trailers, you know, hooking up the airlines and so forth. And the other thing on this is we're going to do the pre-trip, making sure everything checks out. In that area where Andrew is there, that's a slide-out area where we're going to set up cones where you're going to do straight backing about 70 to 75 feet and all of those things. And, of course, this is all, I'm saying this, it sounds like we're doing in a day or two. This is over 4 weeks. We're spreading it out. And, of course, I want to make sure you see, after we feel you're ready, which is in a couple of days, you're going to do highway driving. You're going to start out at the secondary roads that are leading into the state highways that are leading into the federal highways, 95 down here and so forth, and 295. We're going to make sure that you really can come through this because we're third-party testing. You're going to come out of here with CDL Class A. There's no anybody, you know, it's not a person who's coming into a school from the Motor Vehicle Bureau. We're doing that. We have licensed examiners, and this is what they're going to be doing. Of course, I just want to show you a few of our cabs. This is what we do. We want to make sure we have a chance to ride everything. Your day cabs on the left, your sleepers the next two, and the conventional condos, which are a little larger. We even have cab overs back there. So these are all 9 and 10 speeds, but we do have automatics that we use in the training facility over in the back in the docking pads. Make sure you have a chance to use everything.
Rob, I think what I'm most proud of, though, is our graduates. And you know, the graduates, the classes, they range anywhere from, you know, 24 to 36 in a class. And these guys become major friends over the years. And these guys become your network out there in the industry. And let's see what some of these guys are doing today. This is Michael Carlisle. He chose national training because of our program would provide him with the most behind-the-wheel driving time. So he went and he really did his homework. While in school, Michael received 4 serious offers for employment. This is Mark Albert. He's a former insurance salesman. He was a manager in a factory. He didn't want to sit behind the desk anymore. He chose national training because of our great reputation with the professional admissions team and our location. I come to find out that he came down 2 years ago, this January, from Keene, New Hampshire. So he's over 3 years on the road now. Marissa Giles. Marissa is a retired United States Marine, over 22 years of service. We thank her for her service. Our training format allowed her to train for her new career while she was still on active duty. We've graduated many military veterans over the past 20, 25 years. And of course, placement. You know, Rob, you were there right from the very beginning.
Right from the very beginning.
Right,
It was tough then, Andrew, because, you know, the schools were just coming into existence. We were starting out back in '78, you know, and very few of the companies really knew anything about schools and what they would do to be able to get on with them and start working with them. So it was tough. We had a tough time, but we got it. Now we've got about 150 carriers that we can work with as far as job placement. We've even narrowed that down to what we feel are the best 25. And this is a whole thing. We work with these companies. They come to our school, but we're going to spend time with you as an individual, and we're going to make sure that you have the, you know, you're going to tell us what you want, just like this area I'm sitting there talking over, you know, about this fellow he wants to know, and he wants to get into what we call regional driving. Or maybe he might want to get into, you know, driving local or over the road. You know, we're going to work with you. We want to make sure that you're comfortable in the career because you have your CDL Class A. The next step is for us to work with you and get you onto the company of your choice. That's
you know, that's the one thing when we talk about, you know, we had Atlantic Freight on tonight. You know, this is a company that, you know, hires experienced drivers, you know, with 38,000 graduates. You know, this is kind of why we have to have the system that we have. You know,
sure.
You know, there's a lot of movement in the trucking industry.
You know, and what aggravates me, too, is that some of these schools out there, they have like 3 or 4 companies only. They'll take what I call second-rate drivers because of the lack of hours they're giving. That's why they only have 3 or 4 companies that are, you know, out there that are being able to take these students. And we're us, we've got a wide open margin here. I always tell the student, you pick out a truck on the highway, you know, a large carrier. I said, we could probably get you into that company, you know, without any problem. Because we've been here for that many years, and they know the hours that we put behind our students.
And of course, Rob, we got the motel attached to the school. It's about 7 miles from the front door. You know, they get very special rates there, about $26 a night. So if you're there for, you know, 4 weeks is $638. But they got the refrigerator, the microwave, the air conditioner, the TV, the telephone, free local and long distance calls. You know, because we got people coming in from all over the country to do the course. When we talk about the money, you know, have you ever invested in anything? Real estate, stock market, a house? You know, what's the safest investment? And, you know, we really have gotten away from this a lot, but the safest investment, of course, is you.
That's right.
You know, invest in yourself. Here we are in a brand new year, the first webinar of 2017. We got a brand new company, a lot of people online looking to go to school. Quality education doesn't cost, it pays. It brings you that steady income, that lifetime full of benefits, the job security, the independent lifestyle, the opportunity for advancement, the retirement plans. You get to travel, and you get that paid vacations. National training course is very affordable depending upon the individual's needs and qualifications. Tuition cost is about the same as a semester of college. You know, after your first year at an average income of $50,000, $60,000 over 20 years, you would have earned over $1 million with a very, very small initial investment. And I'll give you an example of what you can buy. It's on every guy's wish list. You know, motorcycles, fast cars, right? These motorcycles, a couple of years apart, depreciation, right? You drive it off the lot, it's always worth less.
Yeah.
With your education, that's not the case. It's always worth more. It's all good. We have it all. After all, we've been doing this for a very, very long time. We have the companies and we have the jobs. We have the industry recognition. We have impeccable governmental relationships. We have guaranteed tuition financing for everyone. We have over 38,000 graduates that possibly came here before you tonight. We have a program that's really, really fun to complete, and we have an awesome, awesome training facility. We have extra benefits for our fighting men and women as well. We appreciate our students from the VA, our GI Bill, Montgomery GI Bill, Chapter 30, 31, 35, 33. a Department of Vocational Rehab students, our state voc rehab students, all of our different workforces from around the country, and all of the different Indian tribes that send their members to national training. And of course, national training is where the trucking companies come. Are you worried about getting a job? Give us a call, 1-800-488-7364. If you liked what you heard tonight about Atlantic Freight, give us a call. We'll put you in touch with Victor. Let's open the lines, Rob, see if anybody has any more questions.
Okay, let's do it.
We're going to close it up for tonight. If you have a question, go ahead, raise your hand. We're more than happy to answer any questions. Okay. While we're doing that, Rob, let's throw out a quick poll question here.
Okay.
Okay, I just threw one out. It says, how long have you been thinking about driving a truck? Everybody go ahead and pick that one there. Let's do a vote. Less than a year is winning. Let's get everybody to press a button. How long have you been thinking about trucking? All right. We got about 65% in, and it's almost 50-50. Got a diverse group tonight.
Yeah.
A couple more people vote. Let's leave it open a couple more seconds. Let me show it to everybody. It's exactly hit 50-50, Rob.
Oh, wow.
Exactly hit 50-50.
Oh.
All right. Would you like a representative to call you? All right. Everybody vote. All right. 67-33.
Okay.
67-33. All righty. Let's see, where else are we going? Next Tuesday night webinar. I'm not sure. It's another new company next week, Rob.
Oh, is it? Okay.
He was been really great in getting us up there.
That's great.
Yeah, we have another new company coming up next Tuesday.
Wonderful.
And then the week after that, Rob, we're going to do our first heavy equipment webinar.
Heavy equipment. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That should be real great. That's really
as well.
The chance to ask everybody. That'll be new questions and so forth. That'll be great. And all the guys out there, really, if you're thinking about this too, I mean, we have combo units here that you can do. You know, you can one after the other. So it's really neat.
All right. Well, I want to thank definitely want to thank Victor for coming on tonight and telling us about Atlantic Freight. Rob, you always do a great job of hosting. Most of all, I want to thank everybody that stayed on with us for the last 45 minutes and kind of learned about the industry and learned about us as a school. Again, if you have any other questions, contact one of our representatives in our admissions office first thing tomorrow. 1-800-488-7364. Your lost time is costing you big money. It's all good. Just make sure you call. All right, tell everybody how to get out of here tonight.
Sure, real easy, folks. All you got to do is hit file and then come down and hit exit, and you'll be leaving the webinar. And that's real neat, and it's real fast. And, we look forward to it. Really, we enjoyed having the guys, and hoping to make next week's webinar, because this is something we're not even sure who's going to be there. So it's always interesting, the company that's going to come in. We don't know in the beginning of the week, but it is going to be a brand new company. That's what we're trying to do, diversify all different companies, types of companies coming to our school. So you should enjoy it. So anyway, good night. Have a great New Year to you all.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Marlon, do you have another question, Marlon? You can hit the green microphone. Let's get everybody out. All right, Thomas, I don't know. I don't know about criminal. If Atlantic,
Sorry?
I don't know what the criminal policy is. Give Victor a call at that number. He'd probably be able to tell you that.
Can you hear me, sir?
I'm still here.
Hey, Victor.
Yeah.
Okay, he wants to know. He said he has a felony 4 years ago. Would that keep him from working for you?
No, we'll take him.
Okay, very good. Go ahead and give him a call.
Yeah, and the phone number, he said, probably I need to give you another one, like to the office. It's
Okay, go ahead.
904 area code,
Okay.
722-8945. This one that you have?
8945.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Marlon. Yep. You got another question, Marlon?
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry for the interruption.
No problem. Go ahead.
The thing is that I was trying to see if I can do it, get my license through a CRE England, but the problem is that they never call me. They never send me any information. Can you guys help me get my? I don't have experience driving trucks. I do not have my Class A, my CDL Class A license. I do have a lot of experience as a driver. I have like 22 years of experience driving, and so forth. But I used to work for the city of Miami-Dade County and city of Orlando, so forth. But the problem is that I want to see if I can get my license, but I don't have the funds. I don't have the money to get my to go to school for it.
Okay. Send me an email, Marlon, and I will. I'll send you a link directly to Steering. They're not hiring from Miami right now. That's why you're not hearing from them.
Actually, I'm in Orlando.
If you're in Orlando, they're hiring from Orlando. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but the thing is that I spoke with someone over there, but they said that they were going to send me information, and they never did. It's Atlantic hiring. I mean, helping people that don't have the funds to get the license, or
No, they're not. They're not doing any right now. They're not doing any training dollars.
oh, okay.
Yeah, you have to have at least 2 years experience for them.
Wow.
One thing, may I interrupt you?
Sure.
This is Victor. Anybody who has his driver license, which shows that he has had it for at least 2 years, we can sign him in for insurance, and all information, all training we can provide. Even he was operating different kind of vehicles, but we still will be able to provide him everything else. As long as he has Class A driver license.
Yeah, he does not have, Marlon does not have a Class A license yet.
Yeah, no, I don't. I do have the Class E license, like I stated before. But my issue is I still have my ID, my DOT up to date as well.
Okay, send me an email to my email, Marlon, and I'll send you a link that will go directly to Sierra England.
Okay, cool, awesome. No problem, sir.
Okay, you have my email, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just go ahead and send me an email, and that'll remind me to get it done for you. Okay?
Okay, no problem, sir. Thank you so much.
All right, Marlon, thank you. Okay. All right, we're done.
Yeah.
All right, very good, Victor. Thank you for coming on tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Victor, again. Very good.
Thank you for having me as a panelist.
Very good. We'll talk soon. All right, I'll have you send you a copy of that PowerPoint.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right. Good night.
Okay.
Good night.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, okay, Andrew. Take care of yourself.
All right, bye.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.